Thank you so very, very much for that prayer. I will certainly relay to my wife that you prayed for her when I go back home today. It will mean a lot in these days of questions and uncertainty. And our circumstances are challenging, but our faith is strong and our confidence in the Lord is great. And so thank you for that prayer. There were a number of years ago that I was asked to speak at this luncheon. I noticed that they hadn't called me back. So being somewhat evangelically ticked off that I had not gotten a phone call, I called the Salvation Army and I said, now, what's up? You guys didn't call me back to speak. They said, well, we heard you last time. And you were okay, but you have to understand, Salvation Army is so significant. Its impact is so great. Ordinary just won't do. And you were okay. I said, but look, I'm better now. I practiced, I'm improved. Would you give me another chance? They said, send us a tape. Let's see how you've come along with your oratorical skills, because you know, this is the creme de la creme that comes to this event. So I sent them a tape, called back, said, well, what you think? They said, well, you're getting better. You're moving in the right direction. I said, please, I love the Salvation Army. You know, I worked for the Salvation Army when I was in college. My son, Jonathan, who's now chaplain of the Cowboys, he speaks all over the country for the Salvation Army. I said, give me another chance. They said, well, send us another tape. So I sent another tape. I called back. I said, but can I come back? They said, I know you really want to come back. I know you've practiced hard. But for this group this year, you're just not ready. I said, I'll come for free. They said, now you're ready. So I'm very gratuitous for this opportunity. But in seriousness, they've invited me to just come and speak to you about the heart of the Salvation Army, which means they want me to communicate. Now, communication means that the encoder, the sender of the message, reaches the decoder, the receiver of the message, without the message being lost in translation. And so I'm going to take a few moments to share a thought with you, and I don't want it to get lost in translation, because then there's confusion. I don't want to be like the guy in Chicago. It was freezing during the dead of winter. Couldn't take the cold anymore, so he flew to hot, sunny Florida. His wife was away on a business trip, and he did not want her to go back to the bad weather in Chicago, so he emailed her because he wanted her to go from where she was to meet him in Florida. But for some strange reason, he forgot her email address, and it didn't go to his wife. It went to a little old lady in Iowa. Now, she was a pastor's wife, and her husband had just died the day before. So she's in great sorrow, and she receives this mistaken email. When she reads it, she screams, ah, and faints. Her loved ones, who were there for the funeral, came in to find out why she had fainted, and they read the mistaken email and understood. The first line said, my dearest darling, just want you to know I've arrived safely. The second line said, looking forward to you joining me tomorrow. Signed, your loving husband, P.S. Sure it's hot down here. So it's very important that there is no confusion in communication. In all seriousness, I adore the Salvation Army. As I said, I worked for them all the way through my college years as an aquatics director in Atlanta, and have come to know them in the many opportunities me and my son have had to minister to them on a whole lot of levels, and I'm glad to be here. It was August 14th, 2003. My wife and I were at LaGuardia Airport in New York City. My favorite place to go is New York, and we were on our way back from a few days of R&R. We went to the airport to catch our flight back to Dallas. We stood in the check-in line for about 20 minutes, and the line was not moving. I got out of the line and went to the baggage handler, and I said, now, is there a problem? He says, yes. Nothing is working. Our computers are down, our conveyor belts are down, our magnetometers are down, nothing is working. And so we're having to wait for things to get corrected and things to get better. Along with thousands of people at LaGuardia that day, we waited and we waited and we waited for things to get better. But they only got worse. After 4 or 5 hours of waiting, we were told, ladies and gentlemen, LaGuardia is closing down for the evening. We were caught in the blackout of 2003 when a power grid in Canada worked its way down the East Coast and shut down the power. Now we're on the horns of a dilemma. Where would we stay? We've checked out of our hotels. There are thousands of people trying to find a place to spend the night. Well, we hailed down a taxi after calling Dallas to the travel agent. Find us a hotel. The trains aren't working. The subways aren't working. The planes aren't working because there is no power in the city. We were called and told there's one room left at the Crown Plaza, LaGuardia. As dusk began to settle in, we got in the cab. We worked our way to the Crown Plaza, LaGuardia. It's now dark. We walk into a candlelit hotel because there was no power. We registered by hand. We had to go up to our hotel room by flashlight because there was no power. We go into a darkened room to settle down for the night, and all we could do was hope that tomorrow would be a better day. That's when my wife decided to pull back the curtain to see if we could open the window to get some fresh air into the room since the air conditioning was not working. So she pulled back the curtain, and that's when I saw it. Immediately across the street from the Crown Plaza LaGuardia is a Marriott hotel that was completely lit up. Inquiring minds want to know, how could there be this much light in the middle of this much darkness? We walked back down the steps, back downstairs, crossed over to the Marriott Hotel, completely lit up. People are eating hot food. We walk into an air-conditioned hotel. They have televisions lined all along the foyer with CNN discussing how dark New York had become. Inquiring minds want to know, how could there be this much light in the midst of this much darkness? I find the assistant manager and I said, I don't understand. The street lights are dark, the houses are dark, our hotel is dark, and you are lit up. How can there be this much light in this much darkness? He smiled and he said, well, people have been asking us that all day, and it's pretty simple. When we built this hotel, we built it with a gas generator. So we've got power on the inside that's not being determined by circumstances on the outside. When I think of the Salvation Army, I think of a well-lit location in a dark situation. A well-lit location where the hopes of many are dim or dark, and homelessness, addiction, and poverty. But in the midst of the darkness of their circumstances is a lighthouse that offers them a place to stay, food to eat, and a better day tomorrow. The Bible has a word, by the way, for a better day tomorrow. It's called hope. You can go a long way with hope. You know the verse, it's Jeremiah 29:11. I have a plan for you, saith the Lord, a plan for your well-being and not your calamity, to give you a future and a hope. I have a plan for you, saith the Lord. It is not for calamity. It is to give you a better future and a hope. Now, what's interesting is that that is a well-lit verse in a very dark chapter. I mean, if you read Jeremiah 29, the chapter is dark. The people are in poverty. The families have disintegrated. They're in a pagan place that does not regard God. They have messed up their lives through bad decisions. Jeremiah 29 is a dark chapter, but in a dark chapter, I got a lit verse. I have a plan for you, saith the Lord, a plan for your well-being and not for your calamity, to give you a future and to give you a hope. It's not only a well-lit verse in a very dark chapter, it's a well-lit verse in a dark chapter located in a dark book. If you're depressed, don't read Jeremiah for devotions. That's not the book you want to read. That is a depressing book. Every chapter is pain and judgment and fear and frustration. But in a dark chapter that's located in a dark book, I still got a well-lit verse. I have a plan for you, saith the Lord, a plan for your well-being and not your calamity, to give you a future and to give you a hope. You see, many of the folks that the Salvation Army serve come in a dark chapter. In the chapter of their lives right now, it's dark. Where do I stay? What do I eat? And what does my future hold? But in a dark chapter, I got a great location. Some of them come not only with a dark chapter, they come with a dark book. Not only are they in bad shape today, they're in bad shape yesterday. Not only are they in bad shape today from bad shape yesterday, but they've come from a lineage of bad shapes and bad choices and bad scenarios. But in a dark chapter, located in a dark book, I still got a well-lit verse. I have a plan for you, saith the Lord, a plan for your well-being and not your calamity, to give you a future and to give you a hope. What is hope? You know what hope is? Hope is joyful expectation about tomorrow. Hope is always future-oriented. Hope does not deal with where you came from or where you are. Hope deals with where you're going. Hope says, my tomorrow can outpace my yesterday. My future can be better than my past, and where I'm going can be better than where I came from. That's what hope does. When many of you leave here today and you get your car, you will, if you parked outside in one of the slots and didn't valet it, you'll have to back out, which means you'll have to look in your rearview mirror. You'll see what's behind you. Just do me a favor, when you look in your rearview mirror, don't spend an inordinate amount of time in there or you're going to hurt somebody. You see, the rearview mirror is critical. It tells you what's behind you, but in light of where you're going, there is a much bigger piece of glass called the windshield, because where you're going is a lot bigger than where you came from. See, what the Salvation Army can do is say, learn from your rearview mirror, but we're going to give you a windshield. We're going to show you that where you're headed is better than where you came from. Where you're going is greater than how you arrived. And we're not only going to talk a good game, we're not only going to tell you life is better, we're going to show you. We're going to show you through our love and our care and our concern and our touch. And even if it's your fault that you're in a bad chapter and your fault that you're in a bad book, we're going to show you a well-lit location, a lighthouse where things change. In the verses that follow, 12 and 13, it's very interesting because it says, you'll seek me and you'll find me when you search for me with all of your heart. You see, there are a lot of great social agencies, a lot of great people, philanthropists, who do a lot of great things. But the salvation just doesn't do good things. It does good work. And in the divine economy, there's a big difference. See, you can be an atheist and do good things. You can be a pagan and build orphanages and build hospitals. You don't need to bring God into the equation to do good things for people. But in God's economy, he's not called us to do good things. He's called us to do good work. And good work gets always attached to God. It's never just altruism on its own. It's altruism that offers people not only a better life in time, but hope for eternity. See, the great thing about the Salvation Army is it saves people in history and saves them for heaven. It improves their life in time while giving them the opportunity to choose an eternal life for tomorrow. So you get a double bang for your dollar. You get a double bang for your investment, because with the Salvation Army comes the good news of the gospel. You see, if a person's hungry, maybe they can find a trash can and eke out a living so they can get by. If a person doesn't have a home, maybe they can go under a bridge and eke out a living and get by. That's not the best way to do, but surviving, that's what a lot of people do. But if a man dies without the hope for eternity, you just hit him with a blow he can never recover from. So to have a place that will feed you and clothe you and house you and care for you and work with your addictions and deliver you, and at the same time give you hope for forever, doesn't get any better than that. That's why he attaches the good work to the good news. Then you'll seek me and find me when you search for me with all of your heart. And these folks are so needy and so desperate. In the southwest section of Dallas, where we live and minister, with many of these same kinds of things, people are looking for hope. And if they can just see tomorrow can be better, and then we can tag on to that, and eternity comes with it for free, it doesn't get any better than that, because you've just graduated from a good thing to a good work. And their circumstances and looking for hope has set them up at two extremes. Some people focus on eternity and skip time. Some people focus on time and skip eternity. Salvation Army skips neither, time and eternity. And this is a setup for transformation. When I met my wife, she was the prettiest thing I'd seen, 18 years old, and I saw this beautiful young lady, but she was not responding at the rate to which I was accustomed. I mean, girlfriend was moving a little slow. I had to help her sister out. So I'm from Baltimore, and I took her to an amusement park in Baltimore called Gwynn Oaks Amusement Park. At Gwynn Oaks Amusement Park, they had a roller coaster called the Wild Mouse. It was a roller coaster for two. It did all its dips and ups and downs, but it did something else. It went like it was going to jump off the track and then turn real quick. I said, give me 2 tickets. We got on the Wild Mouse. The wilder the ride got, the closer she got. By the time the ride was over, you thought only one person got on it. Why did I get 2 tickets on the Wild Mouse? Simple. I had a plan for her, and it was a good plan. It involved a future and a hope. So she'd been with me for 45 years, 49 years coming off of that Wild Mouse. You see, in order to get her where I wanted her, I had to create a negative situation. God is so good at what he does. He can take messed up negative situations, and he can turn them into eternal opportunities. And that's what the Salvation Army offers. My wife is a good cook. She's a great cook. And when our kids were growing up, Sunday meals after church, that was the big deal, you know. She'd have a roast potatoes, green beans, and a cornbread, iced tea. She would fix it up. But she wasn't going to do this again on Monday. This is Sunday. So after dinner on Sunday, she became the Tupperware queen. She put all the leftovers in Tupperware. She brought them out on Monday because she was going to use the leftovers on Monday. I saw her one Monday take a casserole dish and take the leftovers from Sunday, dice them, chop them, and sprinkle the leftovers in the casserole dish. Then she grated some cheese and sprinkled grated cheese over the leftovers from Sunday that was in the casserole dish. Then she took some cream of mushroom, poured some cream of mushroom over the grated cheese that was over the leftovers in the casserole dish. Put it in the oven, set it out on the table. Shucks, that was the best stuff I ever had in my life. Actually, what it was leftovers in the hands of a master. You see, what God can do is take messed over lives, dice them, chop them, pour a little Holy Ghost over them, and still serve up a life worth living and a hope worth following. And so, I challenge you to make a double investment. An investment in time so that lives are better, knowing that they'll get the good news about eternity thrown in for free. Doesn't get any better than that. In closing, father called his daughter to him. Her name was Sally. Sally, you've been a wonderful girl. You've done everything me and your mother have told you to do. We're so proud of you, Sally. So you tell Daddy whatever you want. Daddy will be delighted to do it. Sally thought for a moment. Dad, I want to go to the zoo. You want to do what, Sally? I want to go to the zoo, Daddy. Can I go to the zoo? Please, Daddy. Please, Daddy. Well, you've been such a good girl. I'm going to take you to the zoo. Daddy, can I bring some of my friends to the zoo with us? Certainly, Sally. Sally comes back with 9 girlfriends. So all of these girls, yeah, please, Daddy, please, Daddy, please, Daddy. Can we all go to the zoo? Okay, all 10 of you, let's hop in the van. They go to the zoo. They spend 2 wonderful hours at the zoo. It is just an ingratiating time of fun and frivolity at the zoo. They are delighted. It's time to go, girls. Time to go home. They make their way out of the zoo, and as they're about to exit, Sally says, "Look, Daddy, look, Daddy, look. What's that? Daddy, over there." What? They're giving elephant rides. Please, Daddy, please, Daddy, please, Daddy. Can I ride the elephant? Please, Daddy. Okay, we got to go, but please, Daddy, please, can I ride? Okay, let's go and find out about it. Sir, how much for an elephant ride? Oh, it's $20 a ride. Let's go, girls, let's go. We got to go home. Please, Daddy, please, Daddy, please, Daddy, please, Daddy. It's $20 a ride. It's 10 of y'all. It's $200. It's too expensive. We can't do it. Please, Daddy, please, Daddy, please, Daddy. I'm sorry, we got to go, we got to go. Daddy, it's an elephant. Yeah, I know it's an elephant, but it's $20 a ride. It's 10 of y'all. That's an expensive elephant. Daddy, I don't think you're paying attention, Daddy. Look, Daddy, it's an elephant. I know it's an elephant, Sally, but it's so caught. Daddy, you're not looking. It's an elephant. Because, ladies and gentlemen, when it's something this big, you don't quibble about the price.